Hey, hello everyone. So we're still working on Rheem Furnace. I'm gonna show you now how to remove the heat exchanger. Uh, I have done other videos where I show you how you can remove the gas valve, the inducer motor. But now since you already have to do it, I'm gonna just move everything out of the way. So this part here is a part of the heat exchanger. It's just the front part of it. So that's a heat exchanger basically. You're always looking at the heat exchangers behind this. So I'm gonna remove all these pieces, okay? And while I'm doing this, I will show you also. I'll talk about the blower, the burners compartment. So remember, I'm scrapping this. So don't do like me, okay? You have to keep everything in place perfectly because you need it. But I'm scrapping it, so I don't care. Okay, I will be just throwing it in the garbage, but I'm gonna be cutting all these wires just because uh, I'm gonna have to remove them so you can see the inside of uh, the heat exchanger, right? So this is all ready. Now the pressure switch, as I was saying earlier, there are two screws, and this is the pressure switch, right? There are two screws, and it's out. Now the uh, the inducer motor, as I showed you earlier, is very easy to remove, right? Now, this is the igniter, and this is the. So I will show you in a minute how we can remove the heat exchanger. Now, heat exchanger, honestly, believe it or not, is very easy. You can do it yourself, homeowner. The problem you're gonna have is how to get it, because a lot of heating supply will not gonna hand you the heat exchanger. You know, they will tell you, hey, we only sell for contractors, we don't sell for public. Now, the most important part of the burners is here. Basically, there are 4 or 5 screws, as you see. So basically, these are the burners. And as I was saying before, many times, I keep saying it. Sometime when the igniter fires up this in-shot, there's a pathway, gas pathway. It will ignite the others, and then always the flame sensor, as you see, is always here, right? So you have the igniter here, right? The first one, it will ignite it first, and then it will travel. The ignition will travel to the flame sensor. One case of the flame sensor, which I keep telling you because I learned the hard way. One case of flame sensor could be this path could be plugged and dirty. This gas pathway, so it might light this, and this it doesn't light it. So if you can see it like this, if you're lucky enough, this has to be cleaned. So usually we go like this, or CO2 with the pressured air. Sometimes doesn't work. We still have to take this off and brush it with a wire brush. But sometimes we don't see the burner. So some furnaces have like a box. They're closed, and then when we get a signal of bad flame sensor, we think it's a bad flame sensor. We take it, we clean it. It's the same thing. We get a new flame sensor. It's the same thing. We get a new control board. It's the same thing. No matter what we do, and then finally we open the box. Oh, wait a second! Wow, this one is not igniting. So if this is not igniting, the flame sensor will keep sending a signal to the control board. Hey, stop sending gas because it's not firing. The gas is not lighting. So just pay attention to this. Okay, so these are the burners basically. Uh, Again, I'm scrapping everything, so don't keep yours. Okay, so these are the limit switches. As you see, the limit switch has a, I broke it. Don't do like me. It has like a reset switch. So basically, the rollout switch monitors the burner's compartment, make sure the flame is being sucked immediately into the heat exchanger, and it's been traveling out, it's been shoot out. So anytime something slow that flow, and this compartment here, the burner's compartment will become overheated, and sometimes you can see on this limit switch, you can see if you clean it very very good here. If you clean it, you're gonna see it says L180 L. That means limit 180 degree Fahrenheit. So anytime something's stuck in the chimney, the inducer motor is weak, and the burners are not moving quickly. Remember here, there's some kind of light vacuum flow going on. If you put a napkin in here when furnace is running, you will feel literally the napkins being kind of attracted or being sucked, because it's a kind of light negative. So anything black that flow, the fire will back up, and these guys will start monitoring. Hey, it goes like, let's say it's 180, it goes over 180, like 190. It will send a message to the control board. Hey, stop! It's too hot in here. I'm gonna have to interrupt the operation. But this one, luckily, is manual reset. So basically, there's a small disc in here. When this disc, it's a bimetal. It's kind of metal change shape when the temperature changes. So if I push it, you can hear a click. I'm gonna bring it close to my microphone, and then you can click it one more time. So one more time. This is too hot, right? And then I'm gonna click it. You hear that? So this is the rollout switch. Now, if you go to your furnace and you have no heat, and there are three of them here. There's another one here, and you touch it and you feel it click like this. Well, listen. You feel it click. That means 95% is not this guy. This guy is just doing his job. That means there's 5% chance this is bad. You can reset it. If you reset it and it works and no problem anymore, that means this why once a while did it. But if you reset it, again, 95% cases, it will happen again. There's a lot of stuff going on. Burners are too strong. When people install the furnace, they never send a startup team. Startup team, basically, they go after the installer. Because remember, installer is not a technician. Okay, installer knows something, but installer is not always. Some cases, installer can be technician, yeah, but generally speaking, 80% installer is not a technician. Installer, they know how to put. Installer can learn how to install in 6 months, or maybe a year. But to be a technician, you need at least 5 years. So the installers come put the furnace. They have to send a startup team or startup guy. Usually they make sure the gas valve, the gas valve is not pushing the gas so crazy like into the furnace. There are some adjustments. Some of them doesn't have adjustment, unfortunately. But this one here, like carrier, have adjustment. You can remove this. This is 2-stage, but you have to know how to do it. But what I'm saying is, if the gas is very strong, it's like when you're cooking, we have a small pot and you're using the biggest eye in the oven. Let's say you have a pot that's only for two eggs, and you're using the biggest eye, and the flame is like crazy. And that's how a lot of times could be also, this guy can be bothered. Hey, it's too hot. So the gas pressure has to be adjusted. Again, could be many things. Could be something black in the chimney, something black in the flue pipe, or maybe there's an animal. A lot of time animals a squirrel can go into the chimney. You have no idea how many times I went. And there's one lady I remember in Rogers Park in Chicago. She called me. Very nice lady. She wrote a nice review for me. Nobody wants to tackle the animal in her chimney, so she called me. I go there, and it was funny because at some point I was facing the squirrel, and there was only two ways. Either he's gonna jump on me or he's going the other way. And luckily, he jumped the other way. I was scared. So anyway, if you have a squirrel in the flue pipe, it's gonna affect the operation. Okay, and so I'm gonna move them, all of them, and usually these guys start tripping off. Usually, when the furnace is like at the last leg, like 15, 20 years, 25 years. And my advice to you guys, I mean, there are many ways. I mean, you can honestly furnace if I want, because I know my job. I will never replace this furnace as long as I can get a free under warranty heat exchanger from the manufacturer. Like if I go now to Rheem and I tell them, hey, I need a heat exchanger for this furnace. This is 2002. It's already 22 years. Maybe in most cases they can have a lifetime guarantee. They give me a brand new free heat exchanger. I can replace it, and I don't need to do anything. This furnace can live another 20 years. But again, the idea is a lot of technicians don't want to do that. Okay, because again, we all like to make money, you know. And at the same time, uh, nobody will come to your place. Hey, you know what? I charge $95 an hour, or maybe $75 an hour, and because I'm a nice guy, it might take 8 hours, so we're gonna charge you $700, and you got a free heat exchanger. So I'm gonna spend the whole day here. You just pay me like $700. I can do. It's not gonna happen. Usually, nobody wants to do that, and a lot of time it's not their fault. You need a longer extension to get the burners. It's not their fault because also sometimes it's complicated. Sometimes there's a lot of risk. They're afraid if they do something wrong. Uh, in some cases, like this furnace, in some cases, the heat exchanger can come as a one piece, but in many cases is not. It's gonna come so many different panels and covers. So a lot of times, technicians, if they don't know what they're doing, uh, they're not gonna do it. So they're gonna go to you, hey, this furnace, you have to replace it. It's gonna cost you anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000, whatever, for the furnace, and that's how it is. But I did replace so many heat exchanger within 26 years. Now this is the heat exchanger. There are screws. Only these screws can be holding it, and we have to remove the panel. Okay, so basically these screws, you can remove them. And basically, the heat exchanger should be on its own. You can remove it, right? So as I was telling you, I did remove heat exchanger for people I know. They were nice, and I tried to save them money. And in a lot of cases, the supplier is not going to have the heat exchanger. Hey, it's sitting here. Come give it. Most cases, no. They're going to have to tell you, hey, it's under warranty for free, but we have to ship it from Texas or from blah blah blah. So keep in mind, if it's really cold and freezing, and you have a customer who's waiting, they might be freezing for a week or 10 days. So this is the main limit. Basically, this is the limit. The rollout switches monitor the temperature of the burner's compartment. This guy monitors the fresh intake, the fresh air coming in and out. If the filter is dirty, the blower is something stuck in the blower. A lot of times shopping bags can be sucked into it. This guy has to monitor the temperature of the heat exchanger. So for example, it says L, I don't know if you can see it, L170, right? L170 minus 20. So L170, so the cut in minus cut off, usually it tells you the cut off. So for example, if it's 170, let's say the filter is very dirty. And another thing is, a lot of people, what they do, let's say the whole house has like 15 register, 15 supply, right? And they think, oh, that room is so hot, that room is so hot. Maybe the furnace is too big for the system, for the house, we don't know. So they keep closing these registers. Now you cannot close, I recommend don't close more than 50% of the registers. Now they close all these registers and the air start baking up, right? Because it's not able to distribute everywhere, and then the air's gonna start baking up, and then to make the things worse, you have a bad filter, and then now the heat exchanger is gonna overheat, and this guy is gonna monitor the temperature. We said 170. Let's say it goes like 180. 185, and then limit will send the signal to control board. Hey, stop, stop, stop. It's getting too hot. It's so dangerous. Control board, I'm so sorry. Don't be mad at me. I'm going to have to interrupt everything. And then immediately when the heat limit open, the blower will come on. It will come on no matter what. It will force it, so it's going to cool down the furnace. Now it will cool down the furnace, as we said, 170, which is cut off, minus 20, you're going to get the cut in, right? So 150. So it cools down to 150, it's gonna come on, and it's gonna happen like that till they call me or they call someone. We go there, hey, change the filter. Hey, don't close all the registers. Sometimes, believe it or not, some people have a return on the floor and they put a carpet on it by accident. Again, they don't know what they're doing. So you got the idea. This limit is gone. Now I removed almost all the screws. I'm gonna have to remove the top cover, and then the heat exchanger will be on its own. That's it. I believe so. Sometimes it might be mounted a little bit, some screws in the back. So this comes off. Don't throw it away, okay? I'm scrapping this. Okay, now let's see. See, it is on its own. You see that? So nice. This maybe this, if you're lucky enough, you can get it as a one piece. Believe it or not, these heat exchangers are very expensive. Last time I changed one for a cousin of mine, and it was carrier, of course, high, variable speed modulating inducer. That heat exchanger was $3,800, but it was free because they have warranty. So keep in mind the way that Rheem designed the heat exchanger is so nice, so cute, so effective. So the flame comes in here. Let me see, you can see it. Yeah, the flame comes in here, and here we have a mixing box. The flame is gonna be going all over the places, and then it will keep traveling into the tubular heat exchanger. And here you have the inducer motor. Remember? So a lot of times, how I know if the gas valve was really sending a lot of extra gas into the furnace is when you see damages on the heat exchanger. You can see it, right? Yeah. See, at some point, this maybe if this was running and it was like freezing outside, and the furnace will run extra longer time, this thing can be almost orange. So it's been abused. But again, this heat exchanger really is nice. I like it the way they do it. See that? Okay, so remember, this is 80%er. The 90%, 95%er, they have an auxiliary heat exchanger. We're gonna have another video for that. I think I did before once, but not Rheem. So anyway, so remember this is, let me just bring the camera here. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. Excuse my messy warehouse. So as I was telling you, see, everything comes back to the inducer motor here. But remember, homeowner, if you don't understand the terminology, draft, inducer, assembly, blah, blah. This is a vacuum motor. Just think about like a vacuum motor. It's so powerful. It sucks the flame in, and the flame will travel. You know, the longer it will travel, the more the system can absorb heat from the flame, from the burners. And as you know, in case you heard about carbon monoxide and stuff, the way how the carbon monoxide happen is if any crack happen in here or leak, sometimes happen leaks here. So what happened is, remember the fresh air, the motor is sending a fresh air, or you know, a circulator motor is sending the air through here. And imagine how hot this is. And then when it comes in here, the air will pick up the heat and distribute to your house. But the air has to be 100% isolated from the path of the combustion. So you have here fire coming in, but has to be sealed 100%, and it should never mix with the fresh air. Otherwise, we're going to have carbon monoxide, and that's how you hear about people dying. But something I like to mention is why the government 30 years ago they pushed the inducer. Why they pushed the inducer motor? Because it saved lives. Before, if you some boilers still now they are using a gravity fume combustion where they have like a long flute. It's like a flute shaped burner, and then same like barbecue, and then the flame will go naturally because the flame is lighter than air, so it go into the heat exchanger. But that thing, if you have that system, if you have a crack in it, like uh, at that time the air can mix with the combustion because there's no vacuum here. There's always vacuum, like air coming here, coming out to the motor. If you have a crack here, it will be sucking the fresh air into the combustion, which is safer. Different than when you have natural flame going into one path and then the air go and mix with it. If you have a crack, that's usually people they used long time ago, 50 years ago. You can hear on news every year, once a while, somebody's dying. Even now, God forbid, but in most places is old system. So that's why the government pushed for the inducer motor because it's always vacuum the situation here, vacuum condition. No matter how many crack you have, it's gonna weaken the system. It's gonna stop. You're gonna have flash code, whatever. But again, it's not gonna mix with the fresh air. Now, as you see this mark here, you see this mark? These marks? This all telling me that this gas valve, the fire on this furnace was so strong. It's like you're cooking, as I told you, with a small pan, 2 egg pan, and the biggest eye, and you open the gas all the way. You should never have these signs. Okay, so to put it back, basically it's the same thing. You carry it like this, right? And you put it back. Okay, so basically you put it here, and you put all the screws back. And sometimes these they have some kind of uh, uh, place where they have to sit on it. See, like this one here, you have to see it sits on the two arms, and then it sits perfect. You can see it. Yeah, it sits perfect. And then you put the screws, you put everything back. Thanks for your time. I think we're done with this furnace. I did every scenario we can. And if you have any other ideas, or you think there's something I'm missing that you have better experience, we can learn from you. And please, please be my guest and tell us your experience. If there are better way, if I said something that could be not perfectly correct, I'm willing to learn from you. Please put a comment, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.